Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build two model kits. I'm going to finish one model kit, start a new one. I'm throwing the Bear Cave Lego, the Scythe emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw that emote back at me and say hi, like Harold, who already did the emotes before we started the stream and is also hosting the stream, which is rad. But yeah, let me know you're here. We're going to wait a few minutes, see if a few more folks want to join us. Sometimes Saturdays are light. I get it. There's other things going on. There are only other streamers because there is no other form of entertainment left besides streamers. So maybe you're watching one of those streams, but maybe you'll come into the stream later as well. Dude Wants His Rug is here. Mr. Bob is here. We got a great crew already. Hoping, as I said, that a few more folks choose to join us. Azuna's here saying, it's Sunday morning here. Heck yeah. Azuna, it's already Sunday for you. For me, it is still Saturday. And when I say that, I mean it's Saturday. And I'm saying that to remind myself that it's Saturday because days don't really mean anything to me anymore. They should, but they don't. Like yesterday, I thought it was Sunday. I don't know what tomorrow's going to be. Yesterday was Friday, and that was not Sunday. There's a whole song about how it's Friday, and you got to get down on it Friday. I wasn't getting down on Friday. I was just tired. I'm in a weird. Everybody's in a weird spot. I'm in a weird spot. We're going to get building soon, but I want to give a chance for some people to join us before we get going, as always. So I do want to point out that Mr. Bob says, I'm glad people are losing track of what day it is because I have been working from home for over 5 years now, and I lose track all the time. Mr. Bob, like 2 weeks ago, I just put out a video a day early. Like I put out one of my ranking Baering the List videos just out on a Tuesday. I was just like, this is the day it goes out, and I was like, well, that's not right. I'm just trying to be good about days. I'm trying to say what day it is, like out loud to myself. I set alarms on days I stream so that I can do my old reminder on the stream or on my Twitter about it, and that's been helpful. Also, just feeling weird because I just shaved, trimmed the old beard, and actually got rid of most of this. It was getting wild, y'all. Now, I wish I had done that, I don't know, yesterday, this afternoon. Instead, I shot a video. It goes out on Monday. A new Pat Bear's Anime Club. It's a good one, I think. I shot that video, and I did hung out with friends on Zoom, and then did a Skype interview for a thing. And I was like, kind of wish I had cleaned up, but it just got to the point where it was just starting to itch. And I was just like, I don't want this to be a thing anymore. So now it's gone. Also, this used to be the only gray. When the gray started coming in, the white really, it was just this, and it was a little bit of it. And then when I would shave off, there'd be more. But as it grew and got thicker, this would just kind of get covered over, and you'd see a little bit. And there wasn't any of this. Now we're at the point where if what sideburns or any part of my other facial hair comes in, there's a lot of white in it. Not enough for it to be all white. Because if I start growing an all white beard, then I'm keeping it. If this starts all coming in white, if this starts coming in all white, and I'm suddenly just like have a big white beard, a big bushy white beard, you know I'm keeping that big bushy white beard. Bushy white beard. Wishy. Oddly, working more days than normal this week is what's throwing me off. Lashbrook, that can do it. The days just blend together. Knowing when anime is coming out is helpful because I'm like, oh, it's a Friday. I don't have any shows right now because they went on hiatus. Okay. Oh, it's a Thursday. There are 2 shows that I watch on Thursday. Okay, I'll watch the shows. And I stream on Thursdays. Okay, I watch the streams. Those things are helpful for my state of mind, just knowing what's going on. We will get building in just a moment, but I do like to give people a chance to kind of come in, say hi, see what's up, do the whole thing. Bushy Whitebeard, from One Piece. Yes, Bushy Whitebeard, the illegitimate son of Whitebeard. But yeah, I'm open. I'm open. A few more folks decide to join us. But if not, if it's a chill stream, that's okay. Because I'm excited. Like, we're starting a new kit. We're finishing an old one. We still have to finish this high grade by putting a tail on it, which can also be a whip. Somebody was just like, hey, that's not just a tail. And I was like, okay. It is mostly a tail and then a whip. We got to finish the whip. And then when we finish the whip, we can move on to the Dynames. Or, I don't know how to... Dynames? We're going with Dynames. Dynames is what we're going with. It's this friend. We're building a mobile suit with a sniper rifle and dual pistols. Don't forget. See that right there? That holds a pistol. He's got dual pistols on his knees. And also the armor on his chest that protects the GN drive makes it look like he transforms into a jet because his shielding, his shielding looks like wings. I love mobile suits with pistols. Mr. Bob, the fact that this kid is always posed with a sniper rifle like he's looking down the barrel of a sniper rifle, which is nonsense, is great. And two, it is fantastic. Also, because of the GN drive, the Dynames doesn't have a backpack. It just has like butt rockets, and that's just great. It's got wings that aren't wings, that are just shields, and butt rockets. It's a good kit. The Riot Wing Shield, so good. Yeah, I love it. I love that they're detachable and you can move them around. You can just use the small little ones or the big ones. And then, yeah, you can just put it in front and it becomes like a shield. It's great. Let's go to the overhead. It's time to build. We're going to get going here. We're just building the tail. This is easy. I was just on Thursday, I was like, I just don't want to finish this off. I don't want to go past 11. I was feeling tired. I had clearly run out of things to say. And so we did end a little early on Thursday. Also, this came to me today, and I wanted to share it with you. I like the kits from the series, but I could never get into it. Look, that Double O really felt like it was trying to be another Gundam Wing. And it wasn't. Oh, we lost some subscribers. Some people hopefully were new. Reminder, if you use Twitch Prime, you got to manually renew that. I think this is from gifts from last month. That's why. But, we still got a good amount of subscribers. No pressure. If you feel like gifting to somebody, you can also do that. That's a cool thing you could do. But we are now going to be sliding some tail pieces. Now, this tail, the 2000s were a weird time for Gundam. Indeed. This tail reminds me of the fact that I have been racking my brain all week, okay? So I saw this kit, and I was like, what's up with this kit? Why does this kit look familiar? The one we're building right now. What's its deal? Why do I think this is looks like it's something? It doesn't, and it wasn't that I was like, it reminds me of another Gundam or anything like that. I was like, no, it's not that. What does this thing remind me of? And then it hit me, y'all. And maybe this won't be a touchstone for you, but it was a touchstone for me. Not that I was a big fan of the series at all. This thing looks like the dragon armor from High School DxD, which just had I think a relaunch like a year or two ago. That is a show about devil people fighting and having vassals and knights who use armor and transform to fight each other. And the one guy gets dragon armor, and in the dub, the armor, which is sentient. All I remember from the dub, the most thing I remember from the fighting part of the dub is that he just says boost because he can boost his power. And the voice actor at one point just goes, boost, boost, boost. And it's just done. It's clearly done in After Effects. And I always just thought that was very funny. The main thing about the show is, and I probably should have said that in the tweet where I was like, this is what it reminds me of. is that it's a really horny show. It's it is an etchy dang show. I'm gonna look up the photo right now. I have it on my desktop. I'm gonna put it up there. Uh, this show is super horny. There it is. Right? Like it's pretty similar. The tail, I think a lot. Hello, Epic Open World. I think the tail is very reminiscent of it. I think the head is very reminiscent of it. Like the armor, the accents of it. Like obviously, this thing doesn't have the big glowing whatever that is in that show, but it really does. Like I just got here and Pat is talking horny anime. Yes, I'm talking about High School DxD, which is a very horny show that this anime was in, that this reminds me of, and I couldn't think about what it was for a while. It took me a while to figure out this was the show I was thinking of. But yes, welcome to that. We're talking. I think, as I said, there was a reboot pretty recently. I think it was a reboot, a remake, and I think that it was pretty received well enough for people who like that shit. It's like that same thing of like My Stepsister is a Demon, I think was the other one about like, which is also a real etchy show. It's just that thing where it's just like, yeah. Come on, get out of here. There's no need for this. We don't have to be this horny. You can just have a cool show. You have the characters like be romantically interested in one another and do all that, but like this is really annoying. I think this wire is just bent just enough to be very annoying to do this. I think that's what's going on here. But this is an annoying process, putting these on. It's going to take longer than I thought. That's okay, though. What do we do? What else are we doing? We're building model kits. We're going to talk about anime in the second hour that I watched recently, not just anime in general. As I said, I shot a video for Pat Baer's Anime Club that is all about anime. The next video is about anime that you can, like, lose yourself in and watch. Things to watch right now as you are stay at home or work from home. That is the premise. It's like I talk about a few shows that are long-running shows. So you can get a lot of episodes, like one that's 80-something episodes and one that's over 100. So if you really want to get into a show and really dive deep into a show, that you have that option. And the other show that I talk about is I talk about a bunch of shows that are just like real relaxing and chill, like the best slice of life I can suggest. They're just like easy comfort anime because I think that's really important. We're putting 14 of these things on this tail. So we got 14 of these, then 5 of another piece, and then 2 of another. So we got a little bit a tail to build. So it says trying to finish Inuyasha at the moment. They don't make them that good anymore. No, Inuyasha is a good long series. That is a good deep series with, I want to say, okay movies, but the test of time may have proved that wrong. But I remember one of the movies being good. It's pretty good for the time. For the time, that's very good. I can't remember if it actually was though. Listen, Pat, people love horny anime. The horny will never stop. Hey, Epic Open World, I understand. I get it. Look, my thing is that make your horny anime. Like that anime about dudes that review the red light districts in fantasy worlds. Yeah, make that anime. But if you're making a cool anime where this is the armor in it and it's about demons fighting one another and like with cool powers, also don't make it dumb jokes about how like the dude in this costume. One time he won a fight because somebody told him that his opponent was going to make all the big boobs go away and he wouldn't get to see big boobs anymore. And he got real pissed off about that and powered up and won a fight. And that's what I'm talking about, how that show was just like, all right, okay, come on. I am making it sound better than it was. I am definitely talking it up. But that is typical. There's another moment where two ladies who are both really like the main dude are fighting someone and kind of getting wrecked. And another person's like, I know how this will work. And they make it so that he can talk to them, and he asks one of them out on a date, and that makes her so happy, and the other one's so jealous that they both power up and they're able to like defeat their opponent, who's like, are you arguing about a boy right now? And they're like, shut up, this isn't about you. And it's like, all right, anime. uh Whatever. Like I said, you gotta be, there's a time and place for all that. Horn is fine. I'm an old man. Like, we talk about that. Like, somebody liked a tweet I made like 2 years ago, talking about how I was a little bummed about the uh, big boobed elves in Slime. That time I got reincarnated as Slime, because like that show had so little dumb horn. But what are you gonna do? That happens. Oh, well, here we go. Bad Gumpla is now raiding with a party of 15. Hi, Bad Gumpla. Hello, party. Welcome. Welcome to the Build-A-Bear workshop. We're finishing up a tale. Harold, I'll catch you later. Thanks for stopping in. But yeah, welcome, people. Welcome to the Build-A-Bear workshop. My name's Pat Baer. I build model kits, lots of Gunpla stuff, Lego. Tonight we are finishing up. We did most of the body here, and we are going to be moving on to a new kit as well. Iggs here, what's up? Yeah, we're going to start a kit that came out last year from the Double O series. We're going to build a GN drive. Lock On is in the building, and so we're excited about that. That's a new kit. It's going to be fun. We're going to do, oh, what's up, Spen? Welcome. Welcome. But yeah, thank you for everybody that decided to come in. I hope you hang out. In the second hour, we will talk about weekly anime that comes out like this week, usually since the last stream I did, which was on Thursday. So I'll talk about the 4 shows that I watched today. But we can talk about just about anything, really. If you'd like to go ahead and hit refresh on your browser so that you are not just a referral, you are actually just watching. That is apparently important for the new version of the algorithm, because that's the thing that things change like that. We're building a tail right now. It's also a whip. Is this as cool as the tail that Epion and Tall Geese 3 have? No, but it's an okay tail. It's an alright tail, it's fine. It does what it needs to do. It does have a, somewhat see-through blue tip, which is nice. We were also talking about how this kit, particularly that we're finishing up here, reminds me a lot of the Dragon Armor from High School DxD, which, and then with that got us talking about how that show is not safe for kids. But that's fine, because that happens. That's really all we were talking about. We weren't getting anything too heavy. Sometimes we get into heavy topics on the stream, but I get it, Pat. I just think we are at the point where we have come so far down the road of that Sailor B is retweeting a hentai sub service giving away free weekends to encourage people to stay home. I mean, here's the thing. I think that Victoria, Sailor B, is very confident in her job right now. But also, she's been horny on Maine for a long time. Mainly because I think she's very, I think she's very happy in her position. Now that she's less and less on camera in the social stuff, I think that she is a little more free to just be, like, hey, yeah, sure, let's go for it. Tim can't really be that horny on Maine. He's a little horny on main, but he's got to be a little more straight laced because he's the guy at Crunchyroll that's on the videos. So he's got to be, he's the one telling you about the history of localization in Yu-Gi-Oh. So he kind of the Americanization of the Yu-Gi-Oh cartoon. So he can't really talk to you about being horn on main. Or she has a little bit more freedom these days. Also, I'm going to go look at that tweet later. I don't know. See what's up. People gotta be people, y'all. So I went out for I've been doing night walks lately because night walks are great. I highly recommend night walks if you are in a city where there are just people just living their lives. Because it was like 60 something degrees today here in New York. So I went out and kind of like, took a walk around the block. I'm doing some sitting on my stoop. But usually at night, there's just far less people around, so it's easier to walk around and do whatever you got to do. Yeah, these just go on so much easier. These go on so much easier the other way. But that's weird. Well, I guess these won't fall off then. We'll just take our time with it. That's okay. But yeah, like I said, I have been doing night walks, but I didn't leave the house at all yesterday, and so I've been cooped up here for a little bit, and so I didn't even go out on my stoop yesterday. So today I went for a walk. That was a couple weeks ago. Oh yeah, I don't know. That's fine. Epic World. That's fine by me. All right. Starting to wonder if we should disassemble and do it the other way. Because this way seemed to be a lot easier. No, well, it's not that easy. Alright, I think we'll just stick with it. Try to straighten this out as much as I can. Because it seems like any tiny bend in the wire is causing issues, so we'll try. Carry on. But yes, I went for a walk today, and luckily, not a lot of people around, which is good. Because it's just warm enough in my neighborhood for people. Look. There are people everywhere, all across the world, who are just like, whatever. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna be me, and it's like. Fucking, what if you weren't? What if you were just like responsible and cool? But they don't want to do that. They want to live their lives, and nothing's going to slow them down, and nothing's going to stop them, and they won't give in to whatever they got to do, and they're just going to live their lives, and they're not going to let anything stop them. But do you clip at the sprue joint part of the clip, the last bit of the sprue too, and then additional cut for the less white warped plastic? So, it depends on the plastic, right? Most of the time, I'm clipping close and then maybe sanding a little bit, and I'm not doing the double clip. That's just me. I think that I'm a little sloppier on stream than I would be if I was just building this on my own. Because, I want to get to the next thing and I want to get through and keep working on stuff. I have heard the next kit we'll be doing, the green armor, I am going to try to be more careful with because apparently that ends up with a lot of warped plastic, apparently. This green is real bad about that, is what I've read. But yeah, I mean, you can see it here. Some of these cuts, you probably can't see it on stream, but I can see that some of these cuts aren't necessarily perfect. Yeah, I mean, really, it all depends. Especially with a high grade, I'm paying less attention to that because it's more likely that they're going to be warped anyway. But for a master grade, I do, I sometimes will try to take better care of it. This is being really annoying. Just letting you all know that this is annoying. Snip that a little bit, see if that helps. So maybe it's the exposed part of the wire giving me troubles. I don't know. I'm just glad being me is 85% of the way of how I live anyway. Mr. Bob, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I did not expect this to be as frustrating as it's been. Just trying to get through the wire here in the first part. I mean, look, like I said, this is a good thing if it means that this won't come apart. But also, like, I wasn't worried about that at first. I do think it looks pretty cool. I'm not always a fan of the like plastic beads through a wire thing, and sometimes I don't mind if it's just like in a Zaku, right? Sometimes I don't mind if it's just one piece of plastic instead of a bunch of things and you loop it through, because I think sometimes those don't turn out great. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they certainly don't. Uh, yeah, I mean, like, I definitely feel like I've gotten better at assembly and reading instructions for the years of doing these kind of kits, but I do think that I've gotten uh, less careful sometimes. Also, like, I could get better clips and snipper clips, and that would be definitely benefit me. Like if I got the one-sided, the move it to clip it, I could get something that would definitely prevent the kind of warping and white showing that you're mentioning. Uh, I could get better clips for that. These were like I just need something as soon as possible because my last ones broke on me like the day before a stream, and I was just like, oh shit. I had those for a very long time, but still, that definitely caught me off guard. Let's see. Um, Yesterday I did a interview that I don't know. It wasn't a job interview. It was a newspaper interview. I don't know if I'm going to be in the paper on Monday, but I might be. And of course, if I am, I'll let y'all know. But I talked to a reporter about the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater because I didn't take any interviews. I chose not to do any interviews outside of people retweeting or mentioning my tweets when I was laid off last year. But now, I said that I would talk to somebody, so I may be included in the article, and if so, I'll let you know. But I felt like uh, specifically they were talking about the transition the last couple of years from the Chelsea space to the House Kitchen location, which is the one that will not be reopening. And I gave my thoughts on that change as best I could. So that was kind of fun. Tried to not sound bitter or angry or sad, even though I am angry and bitter and sad. People at my local gunpla store talk big about God Hand stuff. Yes. Uh, Between the Berserk flashbacks. I understand. Oh, I saw a tweet the other day. It was one of those like screenshots of like a dumb chat thing, and it just said like, uh, villain. He's only one man. We'll get him. Guts growls. Guy. He just killed 100 people. What the fuck? And I was like, yeah, that's pretty accurate to Berserk. Uh, I used Gundam Planet Snips, and I still fuck up every now and again. Avoid the RG. Oh yeah, I've heard terrible things about that. Real great. I feel like I messed up 50% of the cuts on that. Yeah. No, I've heard very bad things about that. Real great. Uh, I've heard amazing things about God Hand stuff, but that Gundam Planet Snips are a close second. Yes. Yeah, I didn't. I'm like, look, when these go, these are cheap. Look at these things. These are cheap as heck. They're look at. I haven't had these that long. You can't see it in the, maybe you can see it in that angle how worn they are already. Like these things are not pro, but they're fine. They get the job done, and I'm happy to have them. Uh, but the real plan is that eventually I will get a very good pair. Uh, I see a lot of broken Godhead blades in our gunpla. I think, Mr. Bob, I also think people don't treat that like I think people they treat them like any other pair of snipper clips, and they are a different design, and I think you have to be good about that. Also, I should mention, Gundam Planet is shipping again. I tweeted about this, especially if you are on the East Coast. For folks that are on the East Coast, I have been, I bought a bunch of kits from USA Gundam Store, which is out of Florida, but I am happy to report that Gundam Planet is back at restocked and shipping things again. And I bought a couple kits from there. I bought a couple of high grades. I think you'll be excited about that. Yes, they sent out an email. Yeah, Mr. Bob. The way they go, I've heard they keep a second cleaner set just for thicker cuts. Cheaper set. Oh, yeah, makes sense. I highly suggest being on the mailing list. Yes. So yeah, I was very happy to see that I'm on their mailing list when USA Gundam Store. I'm on a bunch of Gundam mailing lists. So I bought 2 kits for myself. I bought and one of them is from G Gundam, and one of them is based on a design from G Gundam. So I'm getting the 144 scale Devil Gundam, the Gundam that is a monster head Gundam, and I'm getting the Eldora Brute, which is based on the Death Army but has 4 legs. It's from one of the build shows, and that thing is nonsense. Both of them are nonsense, and I was just like, you know what? I want a couple high grades. I'm going to get a couple high grades. These are both high grades that I don't see on Amazon, so they're not on my wish list. The death, the Devil Gundam is just such a strange, wonderful, weird thing that I totally look. They only made so many master grades, and I get why. But I think that should be an RE100 candidate. They should make an RE100 of that and give me the 1/100 scale of that wonderful, weird kit. I think that would be rad. The thing is, I have more of these to do. I could have done this off stream, I guess, but now we're going to finish it. I'm just going to try to bend this back here. I don't like complaining about the kits we're building, but I now have a bunch of 144 scale stuff ready to go like this, and I don't mind it. Especially because we have we have this. We've got the Knight, the Justice Knight. The Justice Knight came in from Natalie InGen, and I'm so excited about that. That kit looks so cool, and you know me, I'm a big Talkies fan. I'm a kind of a sucker for that style of mobile suit, the kind of like Knight-inspired mobile suit. And it's just got a lance and a shield, and I'm just into that kit. So that'll be the thing we build after the Dynames. And then I'm going to do a poll when that is done, if there's nothing else from my wish list for the stuff I have. And I just assume, like, let's be real, y'all. When I put a poll up for my $10 patrons, the Monster Burger Truck is going to win. The Lego 3-in-1 Monster Burger Truck is going to win that poll, and I'll build that because it's a monster truck of a burger truck. And here's the thing that I think is really funny: it's a 3-in-1. So there's like a tractor and like a flap, like a truck. Who would keep those? Who like will build those first? Because like, fuck if that's what my kid's gonna look like after I'm done building. Like, no, we're gonna finish up with the burger truck. The stairs on that food truck are a lawsuit waiting to happen. Lashbrook, that thing is wonderful nonsense, and I love it. Uh, it's just a great looking silly kit. Generally 3-in-1s. I'm always like, the main version is the good, but the other ones are kind of cool. So I'm like, forget it. I'm gonna sneeze. Pardon me, I had to sneeze. I apologize for sneezing. Uh, okay. Yeah. So sorry for sneezing. All right, let's keep working on this thing here. Just slide these in. We got just one more of this size, and then we have, just 7 more after this of different shapes. Hopefully they'll go in a little easier. But yeah, my backlog is looking pretty good. Hello, Dirty. Welcome. And I'm really happy about that. I'm glad I have stuff to build, and people have been very generous about picking things up. And that's been really nice because, like I'm not going to be increasing the amount of time that I stream. I don't think. At present, I don't have any plans to increase the amount of days that I do building. But I think it's right to be a little concerned about like getting things and getting equipment, and wondering if that's all going to come through. Uh, Shipping delays and all that, people running out of stock, and being worried about that, and especially with uh, you know basically, if you look at my Amazon wish list, anything that was coming from Japan is no longer available, and that makes sense. So stuff that was like Amazon fulfilled, or even wasn't going to be Amazon fulfilled, that was just coming out of Japan, like isn't, and like, yeah, that makes sense. Good. All right. All right. Oop, just came off the bend. All right, now we can jump to the other part of the tail. Snip out some pieces here. But yeah, I mean, it's nice just having stuff to be able to build in the future, and know that I'll be okay as far as being able to entertain all y'all with model kit building and hanging out, getting some stuff done. Yeah, streams will continue as previously done. Monday, Thursday, Saturday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern, model kit building, and then on Sunday, or no, sorry, Wednesday. This coming Wednesday, I'm going to try again for Smack Talk Showdown. We did run into an issue, just not being able to get it together the last time, so I ended up postponing it. Hopefully, I will be able to schedule enough great people. It's just, it is a combination of people. Like, there are people who have things going on, especially my West Coast friends have stuff going on at that time. They have responsibilities. Some people are still working from home, or they have children. And then also I have a couple of people that are like, I am just not in the mindset to be on a stream and be funny. And I'm like, yeah. Mr. Brown says, I'm sad about the kits from Japan. I've had some extras tossed in a few times, including a Christmas card. Oh, yeah, I've got a few Christmas cards here and there. But then I've also got kits that are just wrapped in bubble wrap. Boxes that are not put in another box with packing. They're just wrapped in bubble wrap and then stuck in the mail, and have shown up just looking like trash, straight up trash. So I've had two different kinds of experiences. I've had very good and very bad. Still, GameStop is still like my favorite nonsense thing. So as you know, GameStop, they got model kits. They got a lot of Funko Pops, but they got model kits. Um, and they were having a sale on all of their like Gunpla and such. And none of their Gunpla like really stood out to me as something that I wanted, or the prices weren't really worth it. But they had, for whatever reason, the Naruto kit that is the same like figurized line as we've built a lot of Dragon Ball kits, and we built a couple um, uh, of other kits from that line. There's only one, Teen Naruto, and so I got that for a really good price. And because I guess they're just shipping is not a thing that this GameStop's worry about. Maybe this is the one I got from. I don't know, but it was it was a box like this, about this big, the size, but the packaging box it came in was giant, and it was full of like newspaper, but not even like crumpled up, just like a big newspaper was thrown in there, and then just the box was just rattling inside of this. A box that you would keep like several PS4s would have been shipped in. Like that, it was a huge box. And it was like, what are y'all doing? And of course, because it was mostly empty, that box caved in because there wasn't any like weight to support it. Somebody probably put something heavy on top of it. So that box came all mangled, and luckily the Naruto box was fine. It was a little beat up, but like nothing major. That was really frustrating. I was like, I paid money for this. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. All right, so we got more of these to put in. Got a lot of these left to put in. Let's be real. Mr. Bro says, somehow I've always been very lucky with those packages. Yeah. Sometimes, like, obviously, when you're talking about kits, you're talking about sheets, they're in their own plastic. They're already on their trees. Like, you don't need a lot of care. Mostly it's like box damage is the thing you're going to get. Occasionally you might get something, some kind of tampering. But generally I've done okay. I mean, the best, quote-unquote, best I've gotten is because I am near an Amazon warehouse, occasionally I will get often I will get kits just delivered from one of their delivery services, and sometimes those packages, like, they got boxed up that day and shipped out by a guy coming in from Bethpage, New York, and he just dropped it off, and it didn't really touch a lot of hands, which is pretty good. I find it so hard to throw boxes away. I have so many boxes. They have to either be very tiny, in which case I'm like, I'm never going to reuse this. Like, occasionally I'll get like one of those small Lego sets, like the brick heads. The box that's coming in, if I just buy one of those, that's going to be a tiny box. I'm not going to keep that. But also because I do mail things out every month, and I haven't figured out what I'm doing. I've been thinking for the next couple of months. I do a thing at the last build stream of every month, which is coming up. That's going to be Thursday. The last build stream of every month, I send out a model kit or a Lego set to somebody, or multiple Lego sets. I think I'm going to send out like usually I go in order of like build order. So the next thing on deck is the Voltron Mini Gunpla. That's the 5 little kits that turn into the Voltron. I'm going to wait on that, I think, and instead just send out Lego sets, because the idea is that whoever wins that is a subscriber, I can offer them, hey, I'll mail this to you built as is in the box, or I can disassemble it and send it to you disassembled, and you can build it and give people like an activity. The last ones I sent out, which I sent out to Silver Streak, I sent out 2 smaller Lego sets, and they just took them apart themselves to rebuild as something to do. And I thought that was like, oh yeah, I should just make that offer. Like, whatever, I got time. I'll sit here with a thing and take the kit apart. Sometimes I do have to like disassemble them partially to get them back in the box. So, and it will be a lot easier to mail it if I'm not worried about packing it in there, right? If I'm just filling the box with all of the pieces and then topping it off with what I'll do is I'll disassemble, put them in plastic bag or Ziploc bag, and then put them in the box, and then put in packing material as well, so they don't shake around too much. I guess if I did that disassembled instead of just filling it with packing material if it's assembled. So I'm going to offer that. So I think I'm going to jump in. I think the Manta Ray Bomber is the next Lego set I built on my list. So we'll see if whoever wins wants me to disassemble that. But I figured I'd do that for the next few months and just give people that instead of just like another thing to put on their shelves if they want. They can get an activity out of it. Or if they're like, oh yeah, I'll take it built, send it to them built. Oh boy, having trouble with this. We still have 5 more of these left to this one. I've been lightly complaining about this. What ends up happening is I have been taking this piece and putting it here in the wire and just sliding it in. You can kind of see there's a little hole there, and it goes through. Now what ends up happening is I'm trying to push this through the wire, but what I'm doing is bending the wire. And bending the wire means that it's just like not going to slip through. So instead of pushing the wire through, I'm just bending the wire. But I can't even get it on generally enough to be able to hold the other end and then push it through. It's just annoying enough that it doesn't want to go through like that. Once it does go through, it's easy. Then I just hold it and push, and it's not a big deal. So it is a little frustrating. I don't remember having trouble with any of the other versions of this tail. But whatever. Oh. And sometimes it's easy as heck. That's annoying. I went through and broke down the tops of so many boxes so I could save space. The only issue is the kits. Oh, and I want to mention, when I talk about boxes, I'm talking about like Amazon shipping boxes. I rarely break down boxes that kits, like the kit boxes. That is a separate thing. I'm bad about that. Now, I also don't display a lot of stuff. One thing I did do was I broke down all of the boxes for all of the small Tony Chopper kits that we built on stream. And to make one giant Tony Chopper. The first box is a bigger box because it had to have the big head in it. And so I just put all the smaller ones in that big head, which is helpful. I'm weird that I don't throw away spruces. Oh, yeah, last brick, I toss spruces as I go to save space. But I generally will even go so far as to just, like, if there are remaining pieces, like, I'm not doing it now, but later I will go and take out these pieces here, which are just extras on the spruce. That's usually when I'm shipping out a kit. I'm not going to ship a kit out like this. I'm going to take apart everything just so that I have as much room as possible to pad it with whatever kind of packing material I'm going to put in it, just for shipping purposes. Yeah, I always get rid of old spruces. Have you ever seen the weird things people do with spruces? I saw someone make a throne. No, Mr. Bob, I have not seen that. No, I don't keep an eye on that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, like, if you can find a use for it, that sounds cool. But yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I am a somewhat unique case in that most of the stuff I'm building here, it does not go on display. Very few things go on display. Most of it gets broken down, and I'm going to mail it out because, that's just how I made the decision. One, it's a nice thing to be able to do for subscribers, to be able to share the stuff I've worked on. And two, it theoretically means that, like, y'all, when I think about the fact that I have sent out a lot of kits, I mean, not that many, really, since I started giving away kits in, like, the end of 2017 when I started doing this, like, but, I've sent out 40 kits probably 30-something kits. That's a lot less kits. That imagine having all of those as well still in my place. Like I'm like, oh, I'm glad I don't have those. I was happy to part with them and give them a good home. I don't know. Someday I'll display all of the kits I got. It's weird enough just having all the boxes, honestly. There's so many boxes right now. I gotta look to see how big the bomber was, and if I want to send 2 Lego sets. That's really what it is. Sometimes if I don't have the right size box for a kit that I want to mail out, I'll just put another kit in there and get a bigger box. I haven't been to my post office in a while, but whatever, I'll go. It'll get me out of the house, and I'll just take my time with it. Try to be careful. But yeah, support your local shops if you can. I think that's in these days, people have been asking like, oh well, where do you buy and whatever, and it's like, well, the first thing you want to do is you want to look to see if your town's comic book shop or model kit store or whatever hobby shop, whatever it is, see if they're open. Image Anime is not shipping anything right now, and they're not doing pickup, and good for them. But I, would have liked to have supported them if I could. I can't support them, so instead I will try to help out some other people. So I went with USA Gundam Store. USA Gundam Store has been good to me, and they're in Florida and mailing stuff. So I was like, okay. Gundam Planet's in New Jersey. I still haven't been to their store. Someday I will go when people can go to places. I will try to make a trek out there someday. I'm always meaning to go. But try to support if you can. Obviously, I put the mostly it's for convenience, right? The wish list on Amazon, because it's just very easy to click a thing and you already got an account there and you just whatever and get what you need and do all that. Like, I don't know. Sometimes the simpler is best, but I understand that, like, obviously that's not ideal. We'll talk about that in a minute or two, probably. Reminder to folks, we'll get into a pause for the calls in a minute or two. If you use Twitch Prime to subscribe, you have to manually renew that. It does not automatically renew on its own. If you use Cash Money, it does automatically renew. But you could also, if you wanted to support me via Twitch, you could gift a sub or do bits and coins. Join the leaderboard for the rest of April. It will reset in the beginning. And, generally we're just doing a fun Saturday. Look, this is the last one I have to do, and it just does not want to go in, and it is being annoying. It's okay, though. Marcus Miles is now following. Thank you very much for the follow, Mark. I appreciate it. Welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. Building. We're finishing this up. We're almost done. We got a couple more pieces to snip out of here. Of A to finish off our tail, to add the connector so that we can put the tail on the part that pops out in the back. You can also, this thing can hold the tail and use it as a whip. But, I mean, it's a tail. It should probably have that tail. Demon thing. Oh, yeah, also, that does remind me. If you haven't hit the follow button, please hit the follow, turn notifications on so you know when I go live. That is a great way to support the stream. You don't have to, but it is a nice way to do it. You don't got to do anything. Just you being here and watching is great. Chatting if you want to, not chatting if you don't want to. Those are nice things you can do. You don't have to do those things. We will have some conversation in the second hour, but I have said this, and I think it's pretty obvious. Like, I'm not out there like doing a bunch of stuff to have things to bring back conversations. Like, my big today was had an interview for a thing. It's fine. Talked to a couple friends on online. That was cool. Uh, got ready for the stream. Cool. Filmed a thing. Pat Bear's Anime Club for Monday. Cool. Then came in here. Oh, shaved. And that's it. That's my day. One thing that I will talk about right now as we prep for the end of this build, and then we'll take a pause at the calls in a moment or two. Steakums arrived yesterday, y'all. I got steakums. Did I order these steakums? No. Were they a replacement for something else that I was supposed to get? Also, no. That somebody thought that could possibly be it. Is that perhaps it was a replacement? No. Everything I ordered, I got. Good morning to you, Zero. Welcome. So I don't know why I got a box of steakums. Now, if you're unfamiliar with steakums, they are part of the cow. They are similar to a processed meat that has been reconstructed into a shape. They are akin to the kind of steak you might have in a steak sandwich, thin layered. But they were probably various pieces and then put together into an identical shape. And they're very thin, and you get two of them together in a thin layer. You throw them right there on a pan, cook them up, put in whatever fixings you like, and then you just have yourself an okay sandwich. Like, I think that's the best way to describe it. It is an okay meat item. But the thing is that they always were in my house growing up because my dad just loved to make them as like, you know what? I want something warm. It's winter. I just want something hot. I'm going to throw these in a pan, make myself a sandwich instead of just deli meats because that was what he normally ate, coming in from work. So like, because he worked outside, he was a house painter. So in the wintertime, he wasn't necessarily outside, but he was still like, every once in a while. So they were always in my house. So if I ever wanted to cook up a steakum sandwich, I could just make them. I only realized today, says Dirty, that I had accidentally purchased both sherbet and Sprite over the past few group orders. Hell yeah. Yeah, you're secretly making some stuff, subconsciously making things. So I made a steakum sandwich last night, and it rolled, and it was great. They are quick and easy to make. Now, do I wish that I had peppers and onions in my apartment? Of course I wish I had peppers and onions in my apartment. That would make things so much better if I had peppers and onions. Do I have peppers and onions? No. So I can't make the sandwich exactly how I would like. I do have white bread, which is important to me. I wish I had American cheese, that I could take American cheese and pulled it in half and put it on there. I don't have that. I have cheddar cheese, which is probably makes for a better sandwich, but it's not how I grew up with it. Or provolone, which doesn't really melt. It just gets warm. Oh, I don't have either of those. I do have a tail on this. Our kid has a tail now, and this is it. Put a fork in it, it's done. We got ourselves a tail. This kit has a tail. I'll take a photo of it, and then we were done. Like a Kraft single. Yeah, I mean, like a Kraft single American cheese, like American by the slice. Land O'Lakes American was a big block of stuff, and you just peeled off that. Like, American cheese just melts well, because it doesn't really melt well. It just, like, merges with what you're cooking on it. So that was always good in that. Because you don't really need to really melt the cheese. You just need to put the cheese on it and heat the cheese up, and then you fold, because it's a long rectangle of your steakum. You're just going to take your long rectangle here. It's more like that. And then you're just going to go ahead and fold it in half on itself and then put that in the bread. Cool tail. Right, Aristophan? Hi, Aristophan. And yes, you're right. It is a cool tail. We're going to take a photo of this, and then we'll get to build more. But yeah, so I got steakums, and that's cool. That's going to be a quick and easy, silly snack that I could just make whenever. And there's only 6 of them, so it does have a. I only have so many of them. What is going on here? There we go. Just want to take a photo, and my app was being very weird. Pat Bear guessed on Bon Appetit, right? Well, I could just reach out to my buddy Corey. So in the first one of the first Bon Appetit videos in the recent one, of the recent new ones, they had a thing where they were showing like all the producers on Zoom, and I like saw the photo of like these are the people that are watching as each person, and I was like, wait, I know that dude, and a dude that did comedy in UCB years ago. I haven't seen Corey in a long time. I didn't realize that he was a producer for Good Eats, but he's a video producer. Not Good Eats, Bon Appetit. He's a video producer for the show, which I just didn't know until I randomly like saw his face, and I was like, I think that was my friend Corey, and it was, which was awesome. Now I want a nice grilled pastrami, salami, and roast beef sandwich. Oh yeah, that's good. But yeah, it was really fun to. Okay, so we finished the tail. We're gonna move on to another kit in a minute. But yeah, that's our kit. I'm actually gonna disengage the tail, and then I'm gonna disengage those parts, and then figure out whatever I knocked over. We'll find that later. Just make it easier to put this in here and put this in here. All right, that kit is done. We have completed our kit. Heck yeah. But yeah, I understand getting something grilled would be great right now. I have like a list of things. I have not spent like $30 to freeze pack ship myself like ribs or something from Texas or some nonsense like that. Have I thought about doing something like that? Of course I have. Am I going to? No. No, I'm not going to. I have thought very hard about it. Trying to be good with the money that I have, what's left of it while I have it. But also, yeah, I've been thinking about ordering ridiculous food items and spending too much money to get them delivered to me. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. All right, so we're going to build the GN drive. Oh, yeah, we got to switch to this one. We'll start building that after the pause to the cause. We're going to take our pause to the cause. Basically, we're going to start with the GN drive. We don't have the LED light, the green LED. On this kit, it's better that we don't have it in general because it doesn't really actually look too good with the front part on there. But we don't have that LED. I've never bought that LED thing. Someday I'll get it, but I haven't. But we'll build all the components of the drive anyway. Lashbrook, I can't remember the name of the place that I was looking at. I'm not going to order from there, but there was a place. I drove past my local Rudy's to grab some brisket yesterday, and the line for the drive-thru was at least 45 minutes long. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, look, we've been at the point where people are sick of the things they can make themselves. You know, that's why I got nuggets the other day on Monday. That's why I got, I ordered pizza the other day. I'm probably going to order something tomorrow to be delivered, even though I have groceries. Because, I'm getting sick of pasta. I'm getting sick of my cauliflower mash. I'm getting sick of a big salad. I'm getting sick of my staples. I would, and also, if you can support local businesses, that sounds pretty good too. All right. So, I'm honestly contemplating if I want to put effort into making food or getting something delivered. Yeah, I mean, it's just you're obviously limited, but you are helping local businesses, but also right now. I assumed that's what you meant, Lashbrook. Anyway, hi everybody. We're going to take a pause for the cause. If you're new to the stream, if you don't know what that means, it's simple. I'm going to take 5 minutes to talk about ways you can support the channel if you'd like to. You're under no obligation to do that. We are going to start a new kit soon. We're going to build that. And it's going to be great. But before we start building, we got to talk about ways you can support the channel if you want to. I got to do that stuff. Because I am an affiliate streamer, which means that you can become a subscriber. If you're currently a subscriber, let's show the Baer Cave, the Lego, the site, the moat in the chat. Let the people know that they could subscribe and help out if they wanted to. You can use Cash Money. You could use your Twitch Prime coin because you've linked your Amazon Prime with your Twitch, and you get a thing you can do for that. You don't have to do that. You could also support people besides yourselves in the chat by gifting a sub or bits and coins. Those are ways to support the stream. What's up, Jam? You don't have to. You're under no obligation to do any of that. You don't even have to hit follow. You can just see a tweet, or you keep noticing because you've been looking in Makers and Crafting, or you've been searching for Gunpla, and you keep stumbling on the stream every week or so. Great. Please do that. You don't have to chat if you don't want to. You can chat all the time if you want. You can ask questions. Not right now because I'm doing stuff, but after that. You can spam, emotes. You can use the ask a question thing with the cave points, or have me hit the gong, or have me use the soundboard. Those are things you can do. But if you want to become a subscriber, that's rad. If you don't, that's cool. I also have a Patreon, and maybe that's more up your speed. Patreon, because that way you could give $1 a month. Maybe you want to tip me $1 a month and not have to worry about it because you just do Patreon. This is all in the show description. If you're watching this later on YouTube, you can find all the links that I'm putting in chat in the YouTube show description. But I have a Patreon for $1, $5, $3, and $10. I forgot about the $3 when I said $5. That's another way to support the stream. It's cool if you don't want to. You can also donate. If you donate with my Streamlabs link, it shows up during the stream. That's nice. And if you use the other two options, they don't show up. And it's private. And when people give me to Coffee or Streamlabs or directly through PayPal, or they do my Patreon or my Twitch, all that money goes to me buying model kits because, as you know, once you build the model kit, you built it. And then you got to buy another model kit to build that. And I'm the one that made this choice, and I understand. And I spend a bunch of money on kits. But if you feel like helping me out, you can. You could also buy a kit that I've decided that I want that's on my Amazon wish list. Model kits, Lego sets, various things. As I said earlier, the wish list is a little dry right now because it's just not, there's just people trying to get restocked. Anything from Japan isn't, available. It's looking better than it was 2 days ago. But there's just less things that are available with Amazon Prime. And there are a few things that are just not. Don't buy the Bardock figure because right now it's $51. I don't know why the Dragon Ball Z Bardock figure is $51 right now. It is not a $51 model kit. Don't do that. Don't do that. But I don't know, Char's Zegok real grade right now is $30. That's pretty reasonable with free shipping from Amazon Prime. So, okay. Alternatively, I have an alternative. If you were like, Pat, I want to support you and buy a kit for you to build, but I don't want to use Amazon. I get it. I fucking get it. I have a way to help. Now, I don't have a wish list on USA Gundam Store, nothing like that, but that works the same way as Amazon. But you can buy gift cards at USA Gundam Store. You can go there to USA Gundam Store, you buy a gift card, you get a code in your email. Then you whisper me here on Twitch, you DM me on Twitter, and you're like, here's that code. And then I use that to buy a kit like this kit, the very kit that we're going to start building right now. Lashbrook sent me a gift card, and I used that to buy this kit, which I've been eyeing for a bit. And I'm very excited to put together. We're going to build a GN drive for that very soon. You don't have to do any of those things that I just said. You can, and I love it. But I would say if you want to join a Discord that's nice and sometimes doesn't have any posts in an entire day, which is fine, you can join our Discord. It's nice. People post photos of things they're working on. I post photos at the end of every stream of the things I've been building. If I'm working on anything outside, which I rarely do these days, I'll post that. I think tomorrow I'm going to start working on the trying to play around with some apps to turn my iPad mini into a Stream Deck alternative. I'm playing around with that. We'll see if that ends up being something I do. I don't know. Um, I've been looking into ways to do that. That's kind of been a little project to, and so far I have not been pleased with any of the options. Um, but that's a thing. And then let's see. Oh yeah, I got some videos you could watch after the fact. You could open up another tab and watch them later. My last Pepe's Anime Club. I got a new one coming up on Tuesday. The last episode that I put up is a preview of some of the series that are out right now that I liked. Only two of which are currently on hiatus, so that's good. Two of the four that I talk about that are new that I was really interested in are on hiatus as of this week, which is a bummer, but that happens. And then I did a thing, Baering the List. I rank things. I ranked cat breeds this week. This is the new episode of that. It went up on Wednesday. Baering the List is a weekly series I do. Those are things you could check out if you wanted to. I'm about to drink some water. And I'm going to put the Nightbot command in there. And then my water, I'm going to actually drink water. This is your excuse. Have a beverage. Stretch your arms a little bit. Stretch out. Roll your wrists a little bit. Roll your neck a little bit. Do whatever you need to do. If you've been sitting in a chair for hours, maybe not sit in that chair for a minute. I'm okay because I've only been in here for like an hour and change. Because I've been stretching before streams, which has been really nice because I was definitely sitting in another chair for about 6 hours off and on, and that's not great. So yeah, I've been trying to stretch out when I can. All right, we're going to get back to building, and I'm going to talk about modern, recent anime that came out. Let's do this thing. Oh, but first I'm going to hit a gong because Ig just redeemed the gong. If you haven't seen this before, my last roommate left this decorative gong, most likely purchased for a sketch comedy bit, but now I own a gong. And is it decorative and not meant for what I'm using it for? Maybe, but it came with a mallet, and I'm going to hit that. So I got a gong. It's satisfying, and also it is a physical item, and I really like that. Some people have soundboards. I have a gong, and I still have a soundboard, but it is a device that was a Christmas gift. I have this as well. I was going to hit one of them. I was going to hit the cowboy because I want to hear the cowboy. Yeehaw! Heck yeah. Yeah, my mom got this for me for Christmas, and I was just like, well, I guess I'm going to use this on the stream. And then channel points became a thing, and I was like, oh, this is a good thing to use for channel points. I think that channel points came out right before I got it. All right, so let's talk about anime. Let's talk about anime. Here are the shows that I want to talk about. Both my Friday shows are on hiatus. All four of my Saturday shows so far have not announced a hiatus. Although one really made it seem like it was the end of the series. We'll get to that, and that was weird. So, Gal and Dino. Yo, what the fuck? What the fuck? Gal and Dino is such a weird goddamn show. So the first half is two short little stories that are animated with like some filler stuff in between, some nonsense in between. First episode, part of the episode that is animated is about his tail and fun ways that he can do to make it easy for her to see the tail because the gal has been stepping on the tail, and that's not cool. So they're trying to figure out ways for her to not step on the tail because that is a bad thing. Basically, it is just a weird. It's a weird episode. It's a good one, but it's weird. Weird little bit of business. Fun. Cute. There is a long thing where she like draws on his tail and writes the word tail on it, and then he just slowly walks into the shower to shower off, and she's like, hey, I know what you're doing. It's just cute and like fun. It is like fun roommate shit, but also he's a dinosaur that doesn't talk, and she's a Ghirarga. It's just fun. You know what? Honestly, it's just fun. I have no idea what's going on in Gal and Dino, but I know that I like it. It feels like some sort of fever dream, right? So the second half of the first, so the second quarter of the show, the second half of the first half of the show, the animated portion, we're at her job with her senpai, who is like was kind of scared of her and is starting to like come around on it. And there, it's Christmas. This is the Christmas episode. It's the Christmas episode, y'all. We got a good new Christmas episode anime. It's a Christmas episode, and they're dressed like Santa's helpers, and they're embarrassed about that. They're like, this is not cool. I hope no one I know comes in. Of course, cue people they know coming in. In fact, it is the ex-boyfriend, the best friend, and the Dino. The ex-boyfriend and the Dino are friends now, and they hang out a lot, which is very fun. And they're like, oh yeah, we've been drinking and we needed like snacks. And she's like, where have you been drinking? They've been drinking at her place, along with the Dino. And they're like, come and hang out. And they're like, all right, fine. Well, buy me some food and whatever. And then she invites the senpai. Oh, the senpai is like, the straight-laced girl is like, this seems pretty cray. Which will tell you when this manga was written a few years ago. She's like, what does cray mean again? It's like, oh, it's like crazy, but like good, but still fun. And she's like, oh yeah, well you should come too. That would be even more cray. And you're like, aw, that's so sweet. Like, this person that she was kind of afraid of, but she's not anymore. And like everyone's getting along and like, that's going to be a fun night. This is a very sweet episode in this series. And then the second half started. And what the fuck, y'all? I'm going to find the photo. Okay. Okay. Alright, sorry. I got to find the photo of this. Because what the fuck is even happening here? So, if you didn't know, a thing about Gal and Dino is the first half is animated, and the second half of every episode is live action. And in this is the fourth episode of the series. The first episode, it wasn't the gal. It was some guy who was like and they call him by name, and he is a voice actor in that like works in Japan and is like a known guy. So he's like out there doing his thing. Like, and it's him and the dinosaur, which doesn't make any sense. And then that progresses in the second episode, and it's this weird thing that's happening, and you're like, what is this show? Why is this show the way it is? What the fuck? What's going on here? And then there's a Death Note style character that shows up, and he's trying to undo what happened because the guy keeps dying. And so he rewrites reality so that instead of this actor living with a dinosaur, it's the gal from the animated part now as a live action character. And then something happens to him, and there's betrayal, and there's another book, and it's a whole thing. So now we're like, okay, so this series is now about, we're now mirroring what's going on in the animated version with the live action version. I think I have some idea of what's happening right now. Fucking except there's like some magic stuff that happens in some teleportation in episode 3, and that is not explained but kind of called out. And at the end of episode 3, there's just a menacing smile by another guy that we haven't seen yet. And at the time, I didn't know who it was. But now I can tell you that it is Japanese comedian and all-around weirdo. Hollywood, I know him as Hollywood Zacko. It's Zacko Shioga, which is also his stage name. So I described this guy as, I can't describe him properly because you need to know who John Gemberling is. And then you need to know that John Gemberling, sometimes, like in drunken comedy shows, would just take off most of his clothes and run around like a dummy. That's this dude's whole thing. Here's this guy. He wears a cowboy hat, no shirt, and usually just underwear. This is a comedian. In Japan, he was in this episode. He came in through the TV. And at first I was like, oh, are they doing another thing where we're showing another version of this? No. The gal was still there. He just was on TV and then came out of the TV and hung out with the dinosaur. And he was totally okay with hanging out with the dinosaur. He's got no problems with hanging out with a dinosaur. And I sound like something's happened to me, that something bad happened to me. I understand. I cannot explain this because this is a nonsense show that just, at one point, he starts talking about how good the Gal and Dino manga is, so he is self-aware that he is hanging out with the dinosaur from a manga, even though the dinosaur is a costume that someone is wearing as if it's a real dinosaur. A lot happened in this episode, and I don't know what it means, but it happened. It's just so bizarre. It's such a bizarre thing. It is great. Please do not misunderstand me when I tell you that it rules. This whole thing rules so hard and so much. And then also, I think it was a dream, because at the end he said, hey, hopefully I see you outside of your dreams or something like that. I don't know. But the gal saw him. Because at first I thought this dude is just here. It's just another one of these things that's happening in the show. But then I realized, oh no, he's not supposed to be there. What I'm saying is, this episode was half incredibly charming, kind of silly and fun, and then half, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, there was a part where the gal was doing, like, TikTok videos, and then he was doing his version of them, and you can hear people in the room that he's filming for this fucking anime laughing. Like, there are people who are laughing at him being silly and weird. If you ever watch Broad City, the weird roommate, like the shitty roommate, that's John Gemberling. The shitty, like, naked all the time roommate. But this character's energy is just Gemberling sometimes, and it kind of fucked me up today. But at the same time, please watch Gal and Dino if you have Funimation, because it's just the weirdest, and I love it. I am so amped for this show, constantly, consistently. It is the highlight of my Saturday. I'm watching what is probably the actual best show of the season, which we'll talk about next. It's probably actually the best show of the season. But to me, the best show of the season is Gal and Dino, because it is the most surprising, weird show. And that is something that I'm just super into, about how just bizarre it is. Can't get enough of it. Gal and Dino. I mean, I don't know. Watch it if you'd like. All right. Now, what is probably the actual best show of the season so far, the one that is doing the most interesting things with its genre, that is My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, which is basically it is a take on the isekai genre and a take on the subgenre of isekai of waking up inside of a video game. Best OP of the season, in my opinion, is Villainess, is Dirty. I really do like Love is War Kaguya-sama because it's just a blatant Tom Jones ripoff. So I do maybe like, although that is also what the last season was. Uh, Also, just it's a Tom Jones knockoff, but still in Japanese. So the main lyric of the chorus is "Daddy, Daddy, do." No idea why. So I kind of love that. And then what show is has a um uh oh yeah Shiraneko Project Zero Chronicle has a very appropriate like rockin' theme that's pretty good. Has like male and female vocals because it's a, it's a love story that shouldn't be star-crossed lovers type thing. So it's like I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. All right, so this is gonna go here. This is gonna go here, and then we don't have the LED parts, so we just have to attach it like we do have the LED parts. That is, I will say that about the GN Drive that I appreciate is that it does allow you to put it together as if you had them, all these pieces. Although this part, I have to put other things on here first. Okay, so let's actually talk about the anime that I was starting to talk about. I went like so many streams without dropping anything. Let's see if I can. There it is. All right, so I binged through the new Ghost in the Shell today and a pretty good Opie theme, but Netflix always skips it. Oh, yeah. Netflix doesn't want you to watch the openings of things. Okay, so Villainous is so much more fun than I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it was I knew I was going to like the premise because I think the premise is so strong. If you haven't caught me explaining it, I'll quickly just say it is the same subgenre style of mostly of person has a life, dies or just goes to sleep, wakes up inside of a fantasy world that is loosely or exactly based on a video game they played. But instead of this being an MMORPG, like most of them are, she is woken up inside of a dating game, an otome game, like a text-based with some pictures dating game. And the twist is she is not the main character of the story or just a new character of the story or her own user-created character if it was an MMO. She is the villain. She is the heartless character who loses. And in the story of the game, the best outcome that she's found, because there's one route we found out later in the last episode, there's one route that she never played, so she doesn't know what happens there. But in the best case scenario, she's exiled. And then in two other routes, she's dead. And then there's another route that she kind of heard a little bit about from her friend, but doesn't really know what happened. So she gets reincarnated as a child, so she has time before she goes to school, because once she gets to school, that's when all of this shit is going to go down, is at the Magic Academy. But the thing is, her attempts to change things do change things, but also some things change inadvertently just because of who she is. So the main the guy that she's supposed to marry, who falls in love with the main character of the anime, who actually meet Maria. We meet Maria in this episode. We finally meet Maria. Maria shows up, but in the story, in the game, like he's not really interested in her, but the real person, this person, he is interested in. He's grown up being interested in her. Her younger brother character is not really her brother, but he stays with her. He doesn't become a coldless playboy. Instead, he is definitely a siscon. But she doesn't recognize that. The brother of the guy that she is supposed to get married to is not as mean and nasty as he used to be, but also is definitely in love with her, and is not in love with the girl that he was in the game. Also, a thing that happened is that she created a harem, and it is a mixed gender harem. They're all of the dudes that were supposed to be in love with this main girl and that cause problems are all in love with uh, her, and she is unaware of all of that. And her two female friends, one of whom she doesn't really know much about the story, and the other who, like, something happens later with, they're all also in love with her. Uh, and now also probably Maria, her rival, the main character in the game, uh, is also probably going to be infatuated with her. Because there's a moment in the end of the episode which is really fucking great. I'm just amped about this show. There's a moment in the episode where they realize that a bullying segment in the game, she was part of the bullying segment, but now in the anime, she is not part of that. She actually prevented it, and Giorgio, the guy who is the prince, uh, she has the moment. She goes, I stole the moment from him. That's probably good, right? And at no point does she recognize the idea that, oh, I had this romantic moment. So I love that. I love that, like, even though she knows the plot of the game and is unsure how she has changed some of the plot of it. She's aware that she's changed it some, but she also is still a 17-year-old otaku. You know, like, that was her real life version of herself. And she's still, like, a clueless person that, like, isn't great at, like, talking to people or like, reading social cues. So she's bad at that part, and she doesn't understand that, like, people are interested in her. Uh, and it is pretty great. I don't know. It's a charming show, and I'm really interested in it, and I'm interested to see where it goes. Uh, and like, I don't look. I feel like this show doesn't end with her with one of the now three women that are really interested in her. Uh, I feel like it doesn't end that way, but it also feels like it could end that way. We'll see. Yeah, I'm into it. There's also a character that, like, seems like he's important, but has never been mentioned in the story because he's got, like, main character hair. Is the student council president, but I don't think, like, I don't think he was important in the video game because she doesn't mention him, but maybe because, yeah, she has changed that reality. But I feel like he might be important because he's in the opening song, and he's got, like, he's got like red pinkish hair, so, like, he's supposed to be a character that, like, things happen to. I assume. I don't know. I'm less clear on that part, but overall, my next life as a villainess is, like, a really fun take on the genre that I definitely recommend. And then there were two parts to this episode of Kaguya Love is War. Okay, so season 2, right? The first part was, like, kind of cute and fun, a little light. It did feature Chica with bunny ears because they were going to go to the roof to look at the moon. And there is a little bit of a drop thing in this first part. I binged through Irma last week. When's the next season air? Dirty, they did announce a new season because you can see the teaser at the end. I mean, it did wrap up in January, so it will be a while, but there will be more of Irma-kun. And hopefully it'll be paced a little better. But binging definitely solves the problem that I ran into with that show. Yeah, there's kind of a little bit thing for the Treasury, the sad Treasury guy, or Secretary guy, I should say, who was like, well, we should hang out while we still can. And you're like, woo, what does that mean? But they go to the roof, and he's the thing that I love the most about this is, the president, the student council president, is so psyched about sharing his love of the stars that, and like there's a full moon and all this stuff. He's so psyched about it that he doesn't realize that he's being like romantic, and so she's trying to like trap him into like and being embarrassed about like, oh, giving me your jacket and putting your arm around me and like being close, stuff that like normally would like freak him out, doesn't freak him out because he's so just like jazzed to share his opinion. It has the negative effect and like actually works on her, and then later he realizes like, oh, what was I thinking? What was I doing? But she like freaks out and runs away. Um, there is also Chica just has a good line about like I like soup or something. No, I like dumplings more than I like stars, which is just a fun being like I don't really care about this. Also, Kaguya does have the same name as the uh, legend of the woman who comes from the moon and comes to Earth and falls in love and has to abandon that and go back to the moon. Is a story, and that's why she doesn't like the moon. And he says this like honestly like endearing thing where he's like, I wouldn't have let her go. I would have done whatever I needed to do to get her back. I would have gone to the moon, and it's just kind of like real nice thing. It's just like a nice sweet thing where like, oh, is she gonna break? She doesn't break. And then we find out that it's the end of the year of them being in the student council. And the president of the student council is not going to continue being the president because he's already gotten a letter of recommendation because that's why he became the president. He still has a job. He still has all his schoolwork. He still has to help take care of his family because he's from a poor family and trying to figure stuff out. And the whole reason he did this was to get a recommendation to get to good school. So for Kaguya season 1, they surely don't mean that she personally is worth 200 trillion, right? They mean her family. Oh yeah, Lastbrook, she's just like from money. She's just from a very, very well-to-do family. She doesn't. I don't think she has any access to. I mean, she has whatever money, but I don't think she has like. I mean, you know, they have an attendant her own age going to school with her so that she can help out that they have to pretend is not that but yeah, no, she's just from a wealthy family. I don't think she has that personal wealth herself. So we find out, yeah, so he's not going to renew it. He's not going to. They might run the like go through it again, but he isn't. So it's time to stop calling him president. And there's a whole bit where she can't really like call him by his name. She feels weird about it, but nobody else has any problems calling him by his name, and in fact they start calling him fun little nicknames. And they're like, oh, should I call you this? Or oh, I should probably do this. And it's like just a fun little bit of business. All right, we got to put the holographic parts. These are called holographic parts here. We got to slot in some holographs. So let's do that. F and D. Yeah, it's a cute little moment. But a thing happens. And there's a fun little back and forth where, like, they're imagining, oh, yeah, they totally disregard Chica thinking about running for president. They totally just pass her by. She's like, oi, hey, that's mean. But yeah, there's some fun bits of business there. And she asked to be selfish. She asked, can I be selfish? And he won. He definitely won. She lost like both times, basically, which is kind of interesting. Because the whole thing is that it's an elaborate fight between the two of them to get the other to admit their feelings. So, yeah, he's going to stay on as student council president. Basically, so they can be together more. Because they don't have any classes together, so they won't see each other. It's just like a nice little touching moment. Also, I think he has to run for president again, so we're going to finally like have stuff to do with the other character that is in the opening and is like a character and it was in season 1 or whatever, kind of. But we're gonna like actually deal with this thing, and it's gonna be this thing of like, is this gonna be like a love interest or like shenanigans, or what's gonna happen with this? I'm not really sure. I like it. It's still a funny show. Uh, as I've said before, I am not super into the premise of, or just any kind of characters. I only got to partway through episode 5, but I enjoyed the housekeeper just checking her phone. Yes, her assistant, her like assistant, is just so funny and great. She's a great addition to the cast. Chica is such a funny character that she helps. Her chaotic nature helps the show, which otherwise would be desperate for laughs sometimes. But as I've said about the show, the reason why I like it, I think, is because it's so over the top with its complete and utter nonsense about the fact that it is, you know, uh, like characters who are clearly interested in one another and but have decided that it's war and they have to get the other one to admit it first, so they win and they win power over the relationship. And the fact that they're just so over the top about that, like yeah, it is a fun bit of business, and I do recommend it. I think it's a great show. All right, so we are building the unit here, the cockpit, and also the holder for the GN drive. And this person does not, our lock-on figure doesn't really want to sit too well in his cockpit. So we're going to try to force that in a little better. But yeah, it really felt like the finale of the show, and it's episode 4 of the second season, or 3. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4, but this is like, no, y'all, this is not the end. What's happening right now? Why is this show? Why is the premise of the fact that they're all in the student council, and that's why these characters are together? Why is this happening? Anyway, pretty good. Pretty good. All right, and then rounding things out, I don't have a lot to say about this. Ascendance of a Bookworm. It's the second part of this first season, really. It's season 2. I'm just not engaged with it. I'll probably keep watching it, but I'm not super into the show right now. Um, I am just less interested in her dealing with the church than I was her trying to like get books and figure that part of her life out, and figure out, get her illness under control and protect her family and the family stuff. Lock on Stratos is such a great Gundam pilot name. You're totally right. Lock on rules. He's the fucking best. It's just a great name. All right, that came together pretty good. The old GN drive. Now we got some BPs to go. Yeah, I'm just not as invested in Ascendance of Bookworm. The first season, or the first half of the season, I guess you could say, because Crunchyroll is putting it out like it's one long season, even though it wasn't. This is supposed to be season 2, whatever. That's their choice. How they chose to do it. Yeah, I'm like, it was a slow burn, and then like I was able to binge through it and was happy to do that. But week to week, I'm like, I don't care if the orphanage has problems. I really don't care about these new characters as much. I don't. Yeah, alright. Cool. Like, this is all. Yeah, alright, well, okay. Like, yeah, it's just not. It's not gripping me. I hope it does, but right now it is like the show I'm like, of the 4 that I've talked about today, it is the one I'm like, obviously, you probably can tell, the one I'm least amped about and was like least excited to talk to you about. So it's like, yeah, all right, that came out. That was a thing that happened. All right, I'm going to try to get these lined up right here. So that's over the hump here. Okay, it goes like that. All right, that goes like that. Great. And then, yeah, And this is supposed to look. How does it look? Goes on the outside. Okay, cool. But yeah, that's the shows I've been watching. My Friday stuff is on hiatus. Hopefully, they come back in some form in the future. I don't know if they do, but I hope they do. I hope they come back soon. I don't know. Everything's messed up. Irregular at Magic School got delayed. The second season got delayed. As I said, I'll let you know when when Funimation gets, because the Funimation is getting the first season if you don't have Crunchyroll, and then they're going to have the movie up, which is canon and bridges the first season and the second season, because a character that shows up in the movie is going to show up again, and like the group they're dealing with in the movie apparently shows up in the second season of the show. But I don't know when that's actually going to come out. But that got delayed. That was supposed to be through the end of this year, I believe. Let me see. Any other updates? Oh, more shows got added. Major Second Season 2 is delayed now. And Pre-Chan is delayed. I think I knew one of those was delayed. But yeah. The second season, which was scheduled for July, has been only postponed to October. So mostly, it sounds like a lot of stuff is that, some shows had animation working, or some of the animation can be done, but basically all voice acting is on hold in Japan right now. It already was in America, and now it's also being held. So like all the dubs were being delayed. But now it seems like all of the anime, like nobody is going in to do voice work right now. I was actually wondering if Gal and Dino would be delayed because there's the live action component, and as I said, part of the episode 3 seemed like it was shot this year. So I don't know, like early in the year. So I don't know. And of course, ask a question. Dirty asked the question, should cornbread be sweet? A, no. Nope. B, nope. Or C, sure, why not, let it all burn. Should cornbread be sweet? Look, here's my thing, Dirty. One, I'm a Yankee, right? So my opinion on cornbread is already suspect, right? So, but I'll say this. I'm looking for my cornbread to just be heavy. I want it to be heavy. I want it to be maybe moist in the middle, but like heavy on the outside and dense. And I'm looking for my cornbread to go on my plate, and it doesn't matter what else is on my plate. That cornbread is not going to disintegrate on the plate. So if there's gravy on that plate, if there's barbecue sauce on that plate, if there's ranch on that plate, ketchup, whatever it is, whatever is on that plate that cornbread just sat on top of, that cornbread is still going to be okay when I put my mouth into it. So it can be sweet, it can be savory, it can be salty as hell, in my opinion. But it's got to be dense. The only good fast food cornbread is Bojangles. There might be other ones that are good that I haven't had, but the one I know is good, that is a fast food, is Bojangles cornbread. It's good. Get that at an airport and just have it sit in your stomach. That's a good-ass cornbread. But also, like I said, my cornbread opinions are suspect at best, as being a Yankee who's never lived in the South for more than 3 months. I think 3 months I lived in the South. And by South, I mean I lived 3 months in Florida once. So, like, that is the South, but it's also Florida. And while some parts of Florida are the South, some parts are just fucking Florida. I heard an opinion that if you put sugar in your cornbread, you should just call it cake. Nah, it's still fucking cornbread. Put sugar in it if you want. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Um, the Gulf of Mexico, Florida, is the South. A lot of Florida is just warm Maine. Because Maine is the most southern of the New England states. Because Maine is full of bonkers nonsense people. And it has more in common with Florida than it does with any other parts of New England. Talk about some nonsense. I'm definitely a savory cornbread person. I hear you. I hear you, Lastbrook. I get you. I understand what you're saying. I just want, people to enjoy their stuff and have a good time with it. I forget what the comic, or there was a comedian on, and they were talking about how, it was a real Southerner, real Southerner was talking to a comedian about how, oh, I'm so sorry that you have to, live in the North and, in Brooklyn. There's no way you're getting good Southern food in Brooklyn. And he goes, I get good Southern food in Brooklyn. Southerners have moved to Brooklyn. He's like, I'm paying for it. I'm paying way more than I would pay in Louisiana. But I'm getting good chicken. And he goes, you can get great pizza now in the South. Because they're all people that moved there from New York and brought the good pizza with them. And then the guy's like, oh, yeah, I have had good pizza lately. It's like, okay. It's like, yeah, it's not that there are places in this world that don't have the good food that you remember being good. It's just that they didn't invent it themselves. They just somebody brought it with them. All right, this is all kinds of confusing here. I'm going to take my time with this. Basically, we're building the arm sockets here. They're going to go into our chest. The arms are going to attach into. And if we screw this up, it's just going to be really annoying. Okay, so this is going to go this. And this goes that. Only time I went to Maine was with my mom when she took me to a taco shop that was across the border from New Hampshire. I didn't see one Hispanic person in the kitchen, and their carnitas were sweet. Dirty, yeah. I would say, look, there might be, like I just said, if people are moving there and doing their thing. I've had incredibly great Mexican food in Connecticut. It's possible. It's just less likely that a taco place in Maine is just, look, Eric Pope is from Maine, okay? It's not the rest of New England. It's his own weirdness. This is not a dig on Pope. This is just letting you know Pope is the kind of guy that left Maine and never looked back. It is a weird place. And yeah, I felt very weird anytime I was in Maine. I've been a few times. I've been to every state in New England and almost every state in the Mid-Atlantic. I've never been to Delaware because there's no reason to go to Delaware. Unless you know someone who lives in Delaware, there's never a reason to go there. So I've just never been. I thought Pope was Canadian. Well, he moved to Canada, and he is a Canadian resident. He moved to Canada to work for Ubisoft, Montreal. But he is originally from Maine, and then, of course, worked in the Boston area. I think if I ever left Texas, I would look into getting really good at making queso. Yeah, man. Yeah. if I ever moved, like, I don't think I would get good at making pizza, probably, but I would definitely try my best to survive without it as best I could. All right, so this goes like that, and then this goes like this. Sorry, I want to make sure I do this right. Yes, I think I did this right. Nope. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Okay. I sound very confident in my okays right there, right? Okay. 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 And this goes in like this. I'll figure out if this is wrong, but these look right. You know, when I go to attach the arms and just nothing happens, I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I screwed that up. Nope, this looks good. Okay, great. You know, once in a while they throw you a curveball. This doesn't feel like the other Double O kits that we've worked on, even as master grades, and it shouldn't. It should feel kind of like its own thing, but it does feel a little bit. I could do with clutches right now, but I'm uncertain if the check stop is open or not during the crisis. Yeah, I don't know. All right, we hit 11 p.m., folks. Time flies when you're talking about anime and having fun. That whip, the tail, took a very long time to build. So what's going to happen right now is I am going to go and find a stream for us to go and raid, because that's what we do now at the end of every build with Baer, is that we raid a stream. So I'm going to look to see. I know Dan Recker's playing Command and Conquer. We could go and check him out against somebody, I believe. My friend Jimmy is doing a thing. I think Loading Ready Run is doing a live thing, but that's probably going to end soon, so we won't go into that. Oh, Mahardy. Okay, yeah, Mahardy's playing against against Riker. We'll go and raid Dan. That'll be good. So let's go do that. If you don't want to join us on the raid, you don't have to. But thanks for being here. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for being at the stream. My next build stream will be on Monday, as always, Monday 9 p.m. Eastern. Thanks so much for hanging out. Feel free to come along on the raid. I think it'll be fun. We will continue to work on this kit, which I'm excited to start building more of. And thanks so much for joining me. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you in the next build with Baer. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.